Ladies and gentlemen, there was a time I had nothing, no money, no confidence, no direction, no motivation. I woke up every day with a pit in my stomach, drowning in self-doubt, feeling like life was slipping through my fingers. I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the person staring back. I felt stuck like my best days were behind me. But here's the truth: rock bottom is not the end. It's a new beginning. It's not where your story ends, it's where the fight begins. And that fight is not against the world, it's against the weaker version of you, because guess what? No one is coming to save you, not your family, not your friends, not some perfect opportunity. There comes a moment in life when everything feels like it's falling apart. You lose people, you lose stability, you lose the version of yourself you once thought was strong. That moment, where you feel empty, broken, hopeless, is what people call rock bottom. And as painful as it feels, it's not the end. It's actually the start of something that most people never talk about: the opportunity to rebuild from nothing. Rock bottom strips away all illusions. It forces you to look in the mirror and see the truth. You can't hide behind distractions. You can't fake it anymore. It's just you, your pain, and a choice. And that choice is powerful. Because when you have nothing left to lose, you finally have the freedom to become the person you were meant to be. The fear of failure fades. The opinions of others don't matter. All that matters is whether you will stay down or get up. Being at rock bottom gives you clarity. You suddenly realize what actually matters. You stop chasing things that don't fulfill you. You let go of people who were never truly there for you. And you learn to listen to the quiet voice inside that says, "This isn't the end of me." That voice might be faint. It might be buried under anxiety, shame, and pain, but it's there, and if you're willing to listen to it, just for a second, you'll realize that you still have a choice. You still have a fight in you. When I hit rock bottom, I thought my life was over. I was drowning in regret and self-hate. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think anything would ever change. But one day, I realized that being at the bottom meant I had a solid foundation to build on. There was nothing left to lose, so why not try? Why not fight? Why not give myself a chance to see what would happen if I just didn't quit? And that decision changed everything. Rock bottom became the turning point. Not because everything magically got better overnight, but because I made the most important decision of my life: to stop giving up on myself. I started showing up. I started building habits, routines, and thoughts that supported the future I wanted. It was slow, it was hard, but every step forward was a brick in the new foundation I was laying. So if you're there now, broken, lost, numb, know this: rock bottom is not your grave, it's your rebirth. It's where the strongest version of you is forged. You may not see it today, but one day you'll look back and realize that it was the most powerful gift life ever gave you. Because from that place of nothingness, you discovered something unshakable: the power to rebuild, to rise, and to never let yourself sink again. You were made for this, and now it's time to begin. One decision. That's all it takes to change everything. We often think change requires massive effort, years of planning, or waiting for the perfect time. But that's not true. The truth is, your life can start to transform the moment you decide it will. One moment of clarity, 1 second of courage, one firm choice to stop living in fear and start moving towards something better. That's the real turning point. Most people stay stuck because they keep waiting. Waiting for motivation, waiting for the pain to go away, waiting for someone to show up and tell them what to do. But the reality is, no one is coming. There is no perfect moment. There is only now, and what you decide to do with it. You can choose to keep living the same story, repeating the same excuses, accepting the same limits, or you can choose to write a new chapter. The power of a decision is underestimated. It sounds simple, but it's not easy. It means committing to something even when the path isn't clear. It means saying, "I'm done living like this." Even when fear is screaming in your head. It means trusting yourself enough to take that first step without knowing what the second or third will look like. That kind of decision doesn't come from logic. It comes from something deeper. It comes from that fire inside you that refuses to die. When I made the decision to change my life, nothing around me had changed. I still had problems, I still had fear, but inside, something shifted. I was no longer willing to accept a life that made me feel small, unworthy, or invisible. I decided I was done playing the victim. Done waiting for permission, done blaming the past. That single moment of decision gave me something I hadn't felt in a long time: control. From that point on, every action became a reflection of that decision. I woke up with a different energy. I faced obstacles with a new mindset. I still failed, but I didn't give up because I knew I had chosen this. I had made the decision to rise, and that decision gave me strength every time I wanted to quit. This is available to you too. You don't need a full plan. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to decide. Decide that today is the day you stop waiting. Decide that your future matters more than your comfort. Decide that you are worthy of something better, even if you don't fully believe it yet. Your decision doesn't have to be loud. It can be quiet, private, and deeply personal. But once you make it, honor it. Act on it, let it guide you, because the gap between the life you have and the life you want is bridged by one decision. And the commitment to follow through, that's how transformation begins, not with a miracle. Not with perfection, but with one decision that says, I'm ready. Motivation is a beautiful feeling. It's exciting, uplifting, and can give you a strong push to get started. But there's a problem with motivation. It doesn't last. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days you wake up ready to conquer the world, and other days you can barely get out of bed. That's why relying on motivation is a dangerous game. If you wait to feel motivated before you act, you'll spend most of your life waiting. Real growth, real change, comes from something much stronger and more dependable: discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's choosing the gym when your mind begs for the couch. It's showing up to work on your goals every single day, regardless of your mood. Discipline is what builds momentum. Motivation might light the spark, but discipline is what keeps the fire burning. When I started rebuilding my life, I realized quickly that I couldn't rely on how I felt. There were days I was tired, days I was discouraged, days I questioned everything, but I made a promise to myself. I would show up anyway. I created routines and stuck to them. I didn't wait for inspiration. I focused on consistency. And every time I kept going when it would have been easier to quit, I was training my mind to be stronger than my emotions. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about being committed to your growth. It's about respecting your future enough to do what's hard now so life can be easier later. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're building mental toughness. You're proving to yourself that you can be trusted with your dreams, and that self-trust is what transforms everything. People often ask, how do you stay motivated? The answer is, I don't. I stay disciplined. I create systems that remove the need for motivation. I make it non-negotiable because I understand that growth doesn't come from big, one-time actions. It comes from small, consistent efforts repeated daily. Discipline turns effort into results. It turns chaos into order, and eventually, it turns dreams into reality. If you want to rebuild yourself from nothing, don't chase motivation. Build discipline. Start with small, simple habits and stick to them. Wake up at the same time every day, move your body, feed your mind, set goals, and hold yourself accountable. There will be days when you don't want to. Days when you feel like nothing is working. But those are the days that matter most. Those are the days where your discipline is being tested and strengthened. You don't need to feel inspired every day to become something great. You just need to keep going. Let your actions lead, and your feelings will follow. When you learn to act regardless of how you feel, you unlock a level of power that motivation alone can never give you. That's the discipline that rebuilds a life. Rebuilding yourself requires more than just setting goals or creating routines. It requires letting go of the version of you that's holding you back. The truth is, many people stay stuck because they're still clinging to an old identity. They keep replaying the same stories, the same insecurities, the same excuses. And as long as you keep identifying with that weaker version of yourself, the one who's afraid, the one who procrastinates, the one who doesn't believe they're good enough, you'll never fully step into who you're meant to be. Growth means death, not physical death, but the death of the old mindset, the old behaviors, the old emotional patterns that no longer serve you. You cannot become a new version of yourself while holding on to the habits, thoughts, and environment of the old one. That means saying goodbye to your comfort zone. It means recognizing that the identity you built from pain, fear, and failure is not who you are. It's who you became to survive. But now that you're ready to thrive, that identity has to go. And yes, that process hurts. It's uncomfortable. You may feel like you're losing yourself. But what's really happening is you're shedding the layers that were never truly you to begin with. I had to do it. I had to face the parts of me I didn't want to admit existed. The parts that sabotaged my progress, that ran from challenges, that chose distractions over discipline. I had to be honest with myself, brutally honest. And then, I had to make the conscious decision to stop being that person. Not someday, not gradually, immediately. I started asking myself every day, what would the strong version of me do right now? And then I did that even when it felt unnatural or scary. Because becoming someone new means acting like that person before you feel like that person. Letting go of the old you also means changing your surroundings. You may need to distance yourself from people who reinforce your old patterns. You may have to stop consuming content that feeds your doubt. It's a detox from everything and everyone that supports the version of you that no longer aligns with where you're going, and that takes courage. It takes discipline, but it's the only way to grow. There is a version of you that is powerful, focused, disciplined, confident, and unstoppable. But you'll never meet them if you're constantly trying to drag your past into your future. You have to make room for that person by clearing out the old. You have to mourn your former self, honor the role they played, and then release them. Only then can true transformation begin. You don't change your life by improving the old version. You change your life by becoming someone entirely new. And that starts the moment you choose to kill the version of yourself that's been holding you back. Success doesn't come from a sudden breakthrough or one massive leap. It comes from the quiet, consistent steps you take every single day. It comes from starting small and staying committed, even when the results are invisible, even when no one is watching. The world glorifies overnight success stories, but the truth is, those overnights are built on years of effort, discipline, and faith in small beginnings. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start with what you can do today and keep showing up. When I was rebuilding myself from nothing, I didn't wake up one day and have it all figured out. I didn't suddenly have a clear path, massive confidence, or unshakable belief. What I had was one small step, one small change, one little decision to wake up earlier, to read something empowering, to stop scrolling mindlessly, or to go for a walk instead of staying stuck in my thoughts. It wasn't glamorous, it didn't look impressive, but it was everything, because each of those small wins stacked on top of each other and created momentum. People often underestimate small actions because they don't deliver instant results. We live in a world addicted to quick rewards. If we don't see progress fast, we give up. But real transformation doesn't work like that. It builds slowly, quietly, behind the scenes. It's like planting a seed. You water it daily, give it sunlight, protect it, and trust the process, even though you don't see anything for days or weeks. Then one day, it breaks through the surface, and it looks like a miracle. But it wasn't a miracle, it was consistency. Staying committed is the hard part. Not because you're weak or lazy, but because your mind will try to talk you out of it. It'll say, this is pointless. You're not getting anywhere, take a break. That's where discipline comes in. That's where your commitment to your future has to outweigh your craving for comfort. Every time you choose to act in alignment with your goals, no matter how small the action, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. It's easy to be all in on the days you feel inspired, but the real test is who you are on the days you don't. Do you still show up? Do you still keep the promises you made to yourself? That's what separates people who change their lives from people who stay stuck. It's not talent, it's not luck. It's the willingness to keep moving, even an inch at a time, when it would be easier to quit. Rebuilding yourself from nothing doesn't require superhuman strength. It requires a commitment to start small and stay committed. Progress is not always loud. Often it's silent, slow, and behind the scenes, but make no mistake, those small steps are changing your life. Keep showing up, keep doing the work. One small step at a time, you are becoming unstoppable. Most people spend their entire lives looking for something outside themselves to finally feel ready. They think they need more time, more resources, more support, more confidence. So they wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect mindset. But that moment never comes, because the truth is, everything you need to rebuild your life, to succeed, to grow, is already inside you. You don't need anything else. You need to stop looking outward and start looking inward. You were born with the tools to rise. You have strength inside you that you haven't even tapped into yet. You have grit, courage, creativity, resilience, and power. But you've spent so much time doubting yourself, listening to fear, comparing yourself to others, that you've forgotten what you're made of. It's time to remember. It's time to wake up to the truth that you already possess what it takes to transform your life. You just need to unlock it through action. The mind is powerful. It can be your prison or your freedom. When you tell yourself, "I'm not ready," your brain believes you. When you say, "I can't," you reinforce limits that don't actually exist. But the moment you say, "I've got this," even if you don't fully believe it yet, you begin to access a different part of yourself, the part that's been buried under fear and insecurity. That shift doesn't require outside permission. It requires an internal decision to trust yourself, to move forward even if you're scared, even if you stumble. You don't become powerful by collecting knowledge. You become powerful by applying it, by doing hard things, by stepping into the fire of discomfort and coming out stronger. Every challenge you face is a chance to prove to yourself that you're capable. And the more you act from that place, the more evidence you build that you are not weak, not broken, not unworthy, but capable beyond measure. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to act in spite of fear. You don't need to know every step. You just need to take the first one. Stop waiting to be saved. Stop hoping someone else will come give you the answers. You are the answer. You are the solution. You are the one who has to rise, and you can. Every person who has ever rebuilt their life started from where you are, doubting, afraid, unsure. But they chose to believe in their ability to grow. And you can too, not because everything is perfect, but because your potential is real. It's already inside you, waiting to be activated by your belief and your effort. You already have what it takes. The real question is, are you ready to stop searching and start using it? You don't need to become someone else. You need to become who you were always meant to be. And that begins the moment you say, "I already have enough to begin." Here is the conclusion of the full speech. Rebuilt myself from nothing, and so can you. Based on all 6 expanded key points. No matter where you are right now, no matter how broken, lost, or behind you feel, you are not done. You are not too far gone. You are not beyond repair. You are at the beginning of a new chapter, and this moment, right now, can be the turning point of your entire life if you choose it to be. Rebuilding yourself doesn't require perfection, permission, or a miracle. It starts at rock bottom, where clarity is born, where truth becomes unavoidable, and where the decision to rise becomes a necessity. One small decision, made in the quiet of your doubt, can begin the transformation of everything. Not because things change overnight, but because you start changing from the inside out. You stop waiting to feel motivated and instead build discipline, showing up, grinding forward, no matter how you feel. You begin to shed the version of you that keeps you stuck and choose to walk away from the patterns and beliefs that no longer serve your future. You understand that it's not about big, flashy moves, it's about small, consistent, powerful steps taken day after day with quiet determination. And above all, you realize this: everything you need is already inside you: the strength, the resilience, the courage, the focus. It's all there waiting for you to stop doubting and start acting. No one is coming to do it for you. This is your moment. This is your fight. This is your rebirth. So take the step. Make the choice. Burn the old script and write a new story. If I could rebuild myself from nothing, so can you. You are capable. You are worthy, and your future is waiting for you to show up relentless, focused, and unshakable. Let the world feel your comeback. Now go rebuild. You've got this.